So this is our deck dinner of December the 13th, 2018. I got lots of sleep last night. Anyway, I'm going to talk about the eugenics crusade. What's wrong with perfect? It's a PBS thing. And it seemed kind of long. Oh, it's 120 minutes long, so that's why. And I'm eating French fries, which is not that good, but I'm eating it with the sage bean dip, so kind of thinking, oh well, you know, I'm eating something healthy with French fries. But I figure I haven't eaten French fries. And they were given to us. It's not like I buy them. And they're yummy. I forgot how French fries tasted. They taste really good. Anyway, I'm having cranberry juice. We're each having 2 bags of cranberries worth of juice. And this is not sweetened. It does not taste good. Terrible. Very sour. But it makes me realize, wow, that's sour, how much sweetener must be in cranberry juice when you buy it. Oh, that's so sour. It's basically like drinking a lemon. That's sour. I'm gonna have one of these before because that was terrible. I'm gonna have to rinse out the glass and drink the rest later. Okay, so in this, we were talking about the origins of eugenics and stuff like that, and how really it was a left-wing kind of initiative, I guess. The people who started out on the eugenics movement, right? We're trying to figure out ways to isolate genes that, I mean, some of the things were quite ridiculous. I don't know how you could imagine you could isolate for such things, but for, say, poverty, like, or crime, like if your ancestors are more likely to be some sort of criminal or whatever, then that might be genetic, they were thinking, or whatever, or health issues, or whatever. Anyway, so that's how it started out. I'm talking about the Eugenics Crusade, the PBS thing we watched, and so it started out fairly innocently, the whole eugenics movement, and then, well, we all know what happened with Hitler. So, and the reason that I think PBS is putting this out again, and let's look at the date here, 2018, so very current, but the reason that they're putting this out is because they, like us, like many other people, are extremely concerned that this is going to happen again. And I think it's inevitable. Actually, it's anyway, that's a quinoa thing. I took it out of the freezer. I just was concerned you weren't getting protein like I'm getting it with the bean dip here. And anyway, it if it's freezer burnt or terrible, just don't eat it, and I'll figure something else out for you. Where was I on the eugenics reason? Well, I don't really. I mean, they have a picture here. What's wrong with perfect? And then the little boy with blonde hair and blue eyes, and he looks very handsome. And there's a whole bunch of them. I don't really have a problem with people wanting to have, like, actually a guy was talking to me about it this morning, how the Chinese had the one-child policy, and they don't anymore. But I don't see any problem with that. I mean, what was happening is, in groups of people who are, say, sexist or racist, they might not want to adopt children of other races, or they may not want to have a specific sex of child. But you know what? It all sorts itself out, I think. Because if a group of people is sexist and all they have is boy children because they've been aborting or abandoning their girl children to die, eventually not going to have a problem with overpopulation. So then their attitudes will change. That's what I think. Because eventually they'll see, wait a minute, we only have like 5 girls in our whole population of millions of boys. These girls are valuable. So I think it sorts itself out eventually. I don't know how long that will take. But anyway. So we were...
Meanwhile, the women...
They didn't talk about that in here.
Exactly right. No. So the place that has perhaps the highest use of that, like the highest discrepancy between boys and girls, men and women, has apparently the highest rape.
Birth rate?
No, the highest rape stats in the world.
Oh.
So that they might be related. Fewer women to go around.
Yeah.
And the guys don't necessarily become more solicitous to the women. They're just the opposite.
Yeah. Well, I think eventually that would sort itself out too.
Maybe.
I think so.
Anyway, I don't envy the women there.
I mean, say you end up with a whole population of, your country has all boys almost. And so you're trying to marry the boys of your country into the girls of another country or whatever. Well, those girls of another country who actually have been raised to have rights and, around non-sexist men, would probably be less inclined to go for those kind of guys.
Maybe.
But like I said, that was just something that I talked about with somebody this morning. And anyway.
That was early this morning?
That was early this morning. I know who I would have been talking to. But anyway, this was a good documentary. Eventually they talked about forced, what do you call it? Sterilization of people. And that actually happened here in Alberta.
It's on the books until 71.
People do not realize it. What year?
I believe it's still on the books when the Socreds were turned out of power in 1971, so 4 years before you were born.
So if you're thinking, oh, well, they wouldn't do that here, and they wouldn't do that in this age. Well, I mean, maybe a lot of you looking at me are thinking, well, she's ancient. But honestly, 1971 was not that long ago. I was still wearing hand-me-down clothes from my cousin in 1971, like from 1971.
Yeah, it's less than 2 generations ago. A little over a generation. Really. About a generation and a half.
They didn't talk about dates about that in that video either. Like, I'm saying I enjoyed that Eugenics Crusade, the PBS special. There's a lot of the time with the PBS shows, they give you enough information that if you're interested about the subject, you will look further. And I appreciate that. But they don't give you a lot of they don't give you, well, almost any of the details that would get you riled up. So nobody's going to be pulling their commercials away from PBS or anything like that over whatever topic they're covering, which I'm actually impressed with that too, that they managed to talk about things that, I mean, some of the issues that they cover are pretty controversial. But in order for you to realize that, you have to do the research yourself. Which, I mean, it's an art, the way they've done these documentaries. Oh, anyway. And, I mean, people are talking about it. When people are immigrating from places and they are totally sexist and they're coming into a culture that is not sexist,
well,
for the most part.
Less so.
Less so. And they're wanting to have their own laws so that they're allowed to beat their own women or whatever, and so they're the other people the other citizens that are immigrating, the women, that half of them don't have the equal rights to the citizens, the immigrants, the men. People start talking. And when their birth rate is really high, and there's honestly not enough resources to go around for right now, for everyone to be healthy.
The world.
In the world, there's not. So whenever you're hearing things that say, oh, it's not a food scarcity problem, it's a distribution problem, that's not true.
Not entirely.
Yeah. You could be, for specific kinds of food products, that's true. You're not going to be healthy if you're eating that. And so when you end up having a population rate, it's one, a lot of the time, like I've talked to people, I went, okay, first I had an environmental studies course that I took where the instructor was saying the replacement value is 2. It's not 2. The replacement value is 1 per person. It's not 2 per couple, because how and I've said this, James has said no, it's 2, and I've said no, it's 1. And I've said the same thing to my sister, it's 1 per person, because James and I don't plan on marrying again. It's just James and I, and we haven't had a replacement. This is not what I like, but I wanted us to have a replacement each of 1. But I don't want to talk about that right now. But most people are going to end up getting divorced. They get married, they get divorced. They get married, they get divorced. They get married, they get divorced. And each time, they're having a couple more children.
So, classic cases in point are Rod Stewart and Mick Jagger. I don't know, 6, 7, 8 for these sleaze bumps.
So I'm not picking on specific cultures or anything like that. But I'm saying, when you have more than your replacement value of children, then you are saying that you deserve more of the resources than other people. That's what you're saying. It's a really horrible thing to do. So
Mick Jagger and Rod Stewart have hardly been
when you have more
productive
than
members
one
of society.
child per person, then you are saying, I don't care about other people. It's only my family that matters.
Family, extended family clan, and then ultimately nation, and or other group, religious group or whatever. And I don't care what color people are or anything like that. I've got lots of different things in my ancestry, and no respecter of persons. So I expect people to buckle down and get responsible about things.
No, we were watching, it was, what were the name of those environmentalists? I don't remember. Anyway, the first movie that they watched, that they made that we watched, it was like, what was it, Save the World or something? I don't know. And then their next one, though, the one guy, and they were talking about different things in that show, but throughout the background of the show, the one guy's wife was pregnant again. They already had 2 children together, and they had one more. And one of the guys is a straight guy with the wife, and then the other guy was a gay man, and he had no children. And so they were talking about it, and the gay man said, well, I guess I'm jealous about it. But they didn't talk about the replacement value issue. They didn't talk about that. Do you remember? Yes Men. The Yes Men Save the World was the one I enjoyed. And then the second one, I mean, it's important to watch it because of that. Because they didn't talk about that. But honestly, they really blew it. They should have talked about it. Anyway, I think that's enough.